Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial. Today is going to be a little bit more of an in-depth tutorial, and as you can see here, we've got some length on this mannequin, and many of you are probably going, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Look at all that nice, beautiful long hair. Well, I'm getting rid of it. All right, so I'm kind of doing like a classic throwback undercut, but it's also, I'm leaving a bunch of length. So what I'm just doing is I'm going up and I'm just removing a lot of the excess bulk. So as you can see, you can get rid of that relatively quickly. The key here is what I'm doing is I'm combing the hair into the clipper blades. And if you're cutting your hair yourself and trying to do stuff like this, if you comb down and press down into the clipper blade, you're going to be able to get the hair off a lot easier. Okay. And as you can see, it got rid of it. So now I'm just doing some scissor over comb, and I'm actually blending in the side right into the corners and the back area, because I want to make a little bit of a connection. Even though it looks like it's, going to be an undercut, all that hair on top, I'm just simply just creating a nice blend. So now is where the undercut kind of starts, and I'm just creating a triangular shape. Triangular shapes are always good for someone who's got more of a rounded face, who's trying to slim the face down. And I'm just point cutting the base here to basically just create a little bit of a softer edge. And point cutting, works well if you're trying to soften up the ends, add a little texture. I usually typically blunt cut everything, like as you can see through here, to give more of a sharper line. And I like sharper lines, but that's what point cutting does. So now what I'm doing is I'm connecting, right? I'm connecting and blending the layers. And I know you're thinking to yourself, well, you just created an undercut. Why do you need to do this? Well, if you don't blend or create any sort of layering or shape on top, the hair is just going to lay flat and be very, very heavy. But here is a disconnection. The disconnection is right there. I'm cutting from underneath. Believe it or not, as you can see, I'm slide cutting from underneath to actually create some shorter textured pieces to give it the appearance that it's actually going to look somewhat blended together. This is kind of a really cool technique and do at your own risk, but by doing this allows the hair to have some freedom and remove some weight from underneath the hair where it typically is very, very bulky. So now what I'm doing is just going in and refining and creating that sharp line and cutting, point cutting while the hair is fairly dry, just to shorten things up a bit, just to kind of balance it out, because when the hair is wet, that's when it usually is gonna look its longest. So now after blow drying, I'm going in with an old school technique. This is called balayage. And I'm using a brush. This is kind of like an easel brush or a paint brush. And I'm just literally going in and balayaging, which means to sweep in French. Really old school technique. I've been doing this for many, many years. And it creates kind of like, people say the ombre effect, but it's a really cool technique. If you're looking to do highlights yourself, this is something that would be hundreds and hundreds of dollars at a salon that you can create yourself using lightener. But again, I always suggest going to a salon or professional because they have all the tools, they have the right products. There's a lot that goes into doing this. You can't just go to the store, oh, I'm going to buy hair bleach and do it. I mean, there's a lot, years and years and years of education and experience knowing how to do this. Again, this is a do at your own risk. But if you are a creative individual, you do understand hair coloring, you do understand lightening hair. This is a technique that you can do if you're looking to create a kind of a summer lived-in blonde look. You do have to let this sit on for a while, but it will be a fairly diffused look. So it's a really actually great technique where you'll see some of the roots, right? Or the new growth looks like it's coming in, but it's just because of the technique. You're not going right down on the scalp. And here's the finished result. You want to let it sit, and then you can shampoo it out. And as you can see, I'm blow drying here, and it gives a really nice, very natural kind of highlighted, lived-in look. The longer you let the lightener sit on the hair, the lighter it's going to be. So if you're already blonde, you do have an advantage. However, if your hair is much darker, you do run the risk of it coming out like very orange and not so blonde. So this is something that's great for kind of a subtle type of natural look. You can have it more extreme if you go lighter. You can spray in some, locked hairspray here. You can spray in tidal wave. Just trying to create a little bit of a messier type of texture here. And it's just something different, right? It looks like it's very, very long. But the thing is that we got rid of all that length underneath, as you can see through here. and I think the result came out awesome.